had a short stint, guys, in the NFL with the Raiders and the Browns. He did play with the Buckeyes. He was there. He also played with the Skins, Jets, and Jaguars. So that's basically all the NFL news. Of course, if you don't know, currently, for all the New England Patriot fans out there, like myself and Adam out there, we did lose this past Sunday night to the Houston Texans, which means the Baltimore Ravens are the number one team. And now the Minnesota Wild come right back and score a goal, and now they go back up by a goal. They are now the number one team in the AFC. So that'll be interesting going down the stretch to see who, if the Patriots can retake that back over or anything like that. But let's go ahead, man. I guess I have Lewis back. Lewis, how are you doing?
All right. I thought I'd come back because you say you hold up till 9 with the calls, so I thought I'd just call back.
I appreciate that. So how's it going in New Jersey?
Well, depending on what kind of fan you ask, because right now my Rangers are up, and now the Bears have just tied the score with the Cowboys. My brother's happy. Yeah. Well, it was one game I've been dreading and looking forward to at the same time.
You can't be too happy with your Jets giving up the first win to the Bengals this year.
No, it figures though. Yes, of course. going against the perennial losers, and they find a way to beat us anyway, and beat us badly. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought maybe we would have a team that would go 0-16. Of course, I don't ever hope that. You don't want to see that happen. But I guess we won't have one this year that'll happen that way. The Bengals are sure going to have the number one overall pick, which will probably be Joe Burrow out of LSU that's playing, Saturday afternoon against Georgia.
Big game.
That is a big game. Everyone's predicting a blowout. I see
No.
Closer than a lot of people are predicting it to be.
A blowout? No way. How are these two teams fighting for the play?
I could see it. I could see Lewis being like a 4 or 5 point win. That close.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Georgia's had some bumps and bruises here lately, but I don't see how they predict LSU to. Now, I'm not saying LSU's not going to win the game. What I'm saying is I don't think that they're going to throw them out like many people are predicting it to be. So, speaking of the bowl games coming up this week, which one is a must-watch for you this weekend?
Well, I think I might have to go with the Big Ten championship.
Ohio State and Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Okay.
So I will be keeping my eye, of course, on Georgia.
Yes, he's champion.
LSU.
Yeah,
I will be keeping an eye on that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the game happens right in the middle of my program, so that's a bit of a downer. Sure.
Well, that's one of those things where you can, like I'm watching the Lightning game too, so I guess you can kind of peek over and, try to keep your attention on both.
Because the game starts at 4 and I start my show at 5. So.
So you're an hour in. Okay, I got you. I got you.
So that could spell trouble.
Well, speaking of that, Lewis, how's the new show going? Is it going well? Or is it still going well?
I wouldn't say it's a new show. It's just a new time. I wouldn't
new
call
time?
It a new show.
Okay.
I'm still the same guy.
Good. All right.
I
So I was talking about you're a Ranger fan. You're not a Devils fan, right? Even though you live
right.
in New Jersey.
My girlfriend's more of the Devils fan. I'm a Ranger fan.
So is she happy that they fired their head coach?
Well, she really gives no opinion on it, but I think we saw this coming because the Devils, as much as they were expected to do better this year with getting Jack Hughes, their one draft pick, they haven't done much of anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
I was listening to a local program here on iHeartRadio called Lightning Power Play. It's all about the Tampa Bay Lightning. And one of the broadcasters that's an insider for the Lightning, Eric Erlinson, said today that he believes that the Devils are the worst team in the NHL. And I don't know. I don't know. That's hard to say, but that's what he said.
Well, in a way, he's right.
Too. LA's no better.
Right. No, but the Devils are actually the worst in the Eastern Conference.
That's true. That is true. Yes, they are the worst team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
So, but again, being that they're a young team, it's one of those things where you come into a season and you don't expect them to do a lot. Well, you got what you got. You don't expect them to do a lot. Well, they're not doing a lot right now, and that's how it goes.
Well, the thing is that many people, I think, were expecting something to happen this year, especially with the number one draft pick, but he hasn't shown anything. So, actually, most Devils fans are very disappointed.
Well, I hate to use that slogan. There's always next year. Sometimes, patience happens to be a virtue that you sometimes have to have with your team, just to give them a chance to be, get back. And, hey, look what happened last year with St. Louis. You change head coaches, you change a goaltender, and next thing you win the Stanley Cup. And I'm not saying the Devils are going to do that this year, but you never know.
No.
A new voice could be what they need. Look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. They fired Mike Babcock, and now they've won, 2 or 3 games now under their new head coach?
Yeah.
So, it's not like it's, sometimes a new voice is something that you need every once in a while. And it does, I guess.
Well, unfortunately, it hasn't paid off for the Devils so far because they lost their last game as well, even with the new coach.
To the Knights, right? To Las Vegas?
To Vegas.
To Vegas, okay. Well, Vegas is a tough team. They're one of the top teams in the Western Conference, and they've been that way since their existence.
Remember
one
thing: Vegas is not your ordinary expansion team, because
no.
See, Vegas got experienced players, and some players have won championships on other teams. So it's not like they brought these kids just taking out of college and never played before. So this was not your ordinary expansion team.
And
so was I surprised by this? No.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but when they expand, not next year, but the year after that, in the 2021 season, they're the only team that's exempt from having to give players up. Vegas is the only team out of all the other teams in the NHL that's exempt from giving the players up. So they don't have to give any of their players away to the new Seattle franchise.
I see.
So we'll have to
they have a name yet?
Yeah, I talked about that on my show last week. Supposedly, according to their general manager, Rod Francis, they're supposed to have one midway through next season. So the 2020 season, we'll know kind of where they're leaning. To be honest with you, what I think I'd like to have them called is the Supersonics. I think they should wear the green and gold like the old basketball team did, and that's what they should be called.
They allow that though. That's the thing.
That's true. That might be an NBA thing. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think.
Yeah, I can hear the. Hey, wait! You can't use that. That belongs to us.
Right.
Right. If you use that, we're going to see you for every cent you got. No way.
Well, and then you Lewis, also too. If you think about it, you never know if you're ever going to come back as a franchise either, because I like him. His opinions are outlandish, but Stephen A. Smith always talks about the Memphis team moving from Memphis back to Seattle. That keeps being mentioned. So you can't take the Supersonic name away if you're going to move the franchise back out there, unless you rename the basketball team, which I don't think that they'll do that. So the hockey team will have to come up with something new when the season starts. That's how I'm going to guess will happen, but I don't really know. I know Stephen A's got steam coming out of his ears about the New York Knicks. He does not like the way that organization is being run, with Dolan and the head coach and the general manager calling the coach out after a game. And I watch First Take every day, most of the time. And if they bring up the Knicks, or he has his own show, he has his own show there in New York.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and he always. I mean, I watched that video. Every other day about when the Knicks didn't get the first overall pick in the draft last year, and
Yes.
I don't know, Lewis, to be honest with you, if that was a ratings thing or if that was his real feelings. Like, was it just a
That was his
show?
real feelings. That's
Or was
how
that
he
just
is.
his real feelings of how he feels about the Knicks?
That is his real feelings. He doesn't pull no
Yeah.
punches, but he's such a
Yeah.
jerk. I really feel sorry for Molly, though. Ugh.
I do too, because
Yeah.
a lot of times, even Kellerman, who I think is one of the better boxing analysts on the planet, I watch a lot of I have Showtime, so I watch Jim Lampley's boxing show, and he's on there all the time with Jim, and he's one of the greater boxing analysts. But he gets into it too with her, and it's like they paint her in a corner. It's like, okay, well, I'll be honest with you, she knows as much about sports as those two do. So it's not like she's just there for looks. She knows her sports as well as they do. So
Yeah.
I do feel I agree with you, Julius. I do feel bad for her. I really honestly do. Really honestly do feel bad for her also.
Taking abuse.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's hard to be, on a show with Stephen A. Smith, because he has his own show. He controls what he wants to talk about. He controls, the callers and so on and so forth. So when he's in a studio with someone else, who Max Kellerman, and back to who was on there with him before Kellerman was. He's on Fox now with Shannon Sharp. I can't think of his name now. The name will come to me.
Yeah.
But they had heated arguments back and forth, and I know Stephen A. Smith too gets into it with one of the other ESPN guys that has his own show. That was a lawyer that is becoming a sports guy now. So he's just a tough guy to talk to, because basically if you don't agree with his opinion, he goes off. And I mean, it's not
He'll chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah. I ain't a quick tidbit. He's going to go on for a half hour before he, about, oh, this is how I feel and you're wrong. So yeah, it's interesting with him, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
ad nausea.
Yep, it's interesting to say the least with him.
Yeah. So anyway, I heard some news about your Rays.
Yes.
With Montreal is off.
Yeah, they the mayor announced the other day that they want the team to stay here all season or leave the city, which that tells me, Lewis, one thing, that I think after the 2024 MLB season, they're eligible to move the team if they're still owned by Matt Silverman, who currently owns them now. I could definitely see them moving out of St. Pete or Tampa, unless a deal is done with the stadium, because that's basically what they want. The problem is Silverman only wants to pay for like 20% of the stadium, and he wants the taxpayers to pick up the other 80%. And Kreisman's like, nah, that ain't gonna happen, Johnny. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that whole story.
About 13,000 a game. Boy, the Marlins are worse.
Well, and that's the whole thing too. I was talking to my boss at work today, and he's a big Rays fan, and that's what I don't understand is this team has won they won 90 games in 2018, and they won 95 this year, and we're on the verge of beating the Houston Astros in the playoffs, and no one goes to the stadium to watch the games. Yeah. It's astounding. I don't understand it. I've heard I lived here all my life. So I've heard, it's where the stadium is located. Okay, well, you know what? I've heard enough's enough about that. That's been an
Yeah.
argument that we've used for 5 years. So now it's time to come up with either something new